Hey y'all, this is Chris Koppel with Chris Koppel Properties and Beach Realty Group.
And I'm Rachel Fitz with U.S. Mortgage Corporation.
And we are leading you home. So what we're going to be doing is a teaching series or a learning series for you guys to kind of demystify the process of buying a home, because sometimes it can be super overwhelming. I mean, if you just can't open up your wallet and pay cash, there's a process. And so Rachel and I are going to partner together. She's also a realtor and a mortgage lender, so she brings both of those hats to the table for us, and we're going to answer all of those pressing questions for people.
Yes, buying a home is one of the most important decisions you can make, and it's probably one of the largest purchases that you'll ever make in your life as well. So understanding that it can be overwhelming, we want to help make it a little more simple and a little less scary.
Yeah. So as we go throughout our series, we encourage you to send us your questions, because questions come up. Like we can't think of everything. So if you're thinking about something you think is really weird or just a question in general, send it in to us and we'll answer the question.
Absolutely. We don't just want to sit up here and talk all day long. We want to answer what you want to know and what you need to know.
Right. So what we're going to talk about today, Rachel, is the process of getting pre-qualified for a loan. A lot of lenders now are starting out with an app on the computer, so you can go right on and do an app process to begin with. Is that correct?
Right.
With you guys?
Right. Nowadays, almost everybody has a smartphone, so we have a very easy to use app that you can fill the application out right on your phone. You can also fill it out on your computer if you're more comfortable. The two will tie together and it's no problem. And the pre-approval process, or the pre-qualification process, which comes first, tends to seem a little scary to some people, and I promise you it's not that big of a deal. Really, if Chris sends me a buyer who wants to get pre-qualified, or if you're smart, before you even talk to Chris, you'll give me a shout and figure out how much you qualify for. It's really an important thing, because if you go out shopping on Zillow, which I know you're out there doing, you want to make sure you know how much home you can afford, or actually you might be underestimating how much you can afford and looking at a price point lower than what you could afford.
Right.
So when you call me on the phone, I will send you my app. It's attached to Chris, so she knows everything that's going on with your file as well as we progress. And we'll get your basics: your name, your current address, your social security number, your contact information, your basic income, and the price point you're trying to reach. We start out with that, and of course we pull your credit, and then we can pre-qualify. And a lot of lenders will just do that and say, hey, you can afford this much. I will go one step further out of the gate, because that's just how I like to be. I don't want to get someone out there with Chris, or you out there on the street looking at homes and not knowing that certain other things might come up. So I'll want your W-2s. I'll probably want your tax returns for the last couple of years, usually the last 2 years. And your bank statements, your pay stubs for the last 30 days, because we want to really see that financial picture overall. And the main reason for that is we don't want you to find your big dream house and be so excited about it and under contract, and then we find out, hey, there's this complication in your paperwork that now is going to prevent closing or delay closing a lot more than you want.
Right, and you don't want to be out shopping for something you can't afford, because what that does to the whole process is, I mean, I can't afford a $2 million house either. You know, we all look at that. Maybe, I never. But you want to have realistic expectations, because if you go through the disappointment, it's like when you go car shopping and you get in the $70,000 car, but you realize you can only afford the $30,000, then you don't like the car as much. That's a real thing. So knowing exactly what you can afford going in is so important. You know, I thought of a question while you were talking, and people ask me this a lot, Rachel. When you pull their credit, how much of a hit is it on their credit when that happens?
Yes, and I think that's probably the biggest reason that a lot of buyers out there, maybe you, are hesitating on trying to get pre-qualified before you start calling a realtor about a property. It's not as bad of a hit as you think. It's probably maybe 3 or 4 points. We do a hard pull. And be forewarned that what you're seeing on creditkarma.com may not be the same number that we get, because we do a hard pull. We'll see everything that's in collections, anything that's on charge-offs. We see it all, and then we know the number. The magic number that everyone asks about, what number do you need? aim for a 640 or a 620. It's not to say that there aren't loan programs that can get you in a home at a 580 or sometimes even less depending on circumstances, but shoot for that 640, and if you aim for that, you should be eligible for a lot of great loan programs.
So let me ask you this, Rachel, you and other lenders, I've heard you say that you are willing to take a look at somebody's credit and kind of give them some advice. If they're not quite there, you know enough. You're not a credit counselor.
Correct.
But you know enough to be able to say, if you would do these couple of things, we could probably get your credit score up. And so getting connected to a lender on the front end and really working with them like you would your realtor. It's a very close relationship. They can help you get there much sooner. I've seen lenders be able to take people's credit scores from like 600 to almost over 700 within about 45 days, just paying off this, that, or the other. I mean, is that your experience as well?
Yep. Sometimes you don't actually know what's there. Sometimes a very small medical bill of like, I've seen a medical bill of $95 that went to collections that a borrower didn't even actually know about, that slid through the cracks, affected their credit negatively. Definitely, again, as Chris said, not a credit counselor, but it's a great idea to have a conversation with me or whoever your lender is so you can see exactly what you need to do. What the main things I see are school debts, medical that's gone to collections or is late, and just any late payments at all. So if you are trying to move towards getting a home loan, then just make sure you're doing all your payments on time. We can take a look at it and see what direction you need to go in to improve it.
Yeah. So when they do the pre-qualification process, I know you do the next step and you ask for the additional paperwork. So at what point in the lending process are they fully qualified?
Once we at least get all of that paperwork in, and look at it and make sure that all the numbers line up, because sometimes if someone's filling out my app, they'll say, I make $3,000 a month gross. And so we want to just see that the documents match, that actually is true, that that's how much you're making, and see the tax return, so that's proving that.
Yeah. So
when you're pre-qualified, that is basically, okay, yes, all the numbers are adding up, and this is you're pre-qualified for $325,000 maximum budget that Chris can take you out to look at these homes, and you know what you're working with.
Right.
Yeah.
And that process takes about if somebody gets all their paperwork into you, say they start the application, they get everything into you, tell me how long about that would take for you to say, okay, we are good and we are committed to loan.
If you call me on a Friday evening and you need somebody pre-qualified to go look at a home on Saturday, then we can get it done.
Right.
That just depends on how quickly you can get all of your paperwork to me. Now, if somebody comes and if you only fill out the app and put in your basic information, and it's Friday night, you've seen a house, it's amazing, and you want to see it tomorrow, just came on the market, and you got to see it tomorrow because you know it might be gone over the weekend, we can look at it and say, hey, it looks like they're good to go. We can pre-qualify them for that amount, with the expectation set that we need all that paperwork so that we can fully pre-approve this person.
Right.
So if it's a hot moment like that, then yes, we can do it. It's just expectations we want to set, that we need all the full documentation. And the only reason for that is, again, we don't want you to fall in love with this house and get under contract and everybody's putting in the work, the buyer's agent, Chris is the listing agent, the seller's getting all happy, and then find out later that it's not going to work. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, so the bottom line is this. Working with a realtor that's connected to a great lender is a benefit to you. No matter who you work with, you may or not work with Rachel and I, but I'm sure whoever you work with will have a lender they're connected to. It is paramount, honestly, before you even go out on that Saturday, in my opinion. I mean, there's those times it happens, but to go through the process of pre-qualification, and people like Rachel are so good at getting it done quickly, so it's not like you're waiting a month.
No.
So while it's a little bit of a pain to gather the paperwork, we will, at the bottom of this video, put in a list of the things somebody should have ready.
Yes,
would that be a good
absolutely.
idea? So we'll put a list of what you should have ready when you're getting ready to go speak with the lender, so you're not going crazy trying to find stuff. Some people aren't organized with paperwork. Sometimes I'm not super organized with my own paperwork. Yours I am, not my own sometimes. But definitely pre-qualification is a benefit to you. It's a benefit to the seller who's selling the home and everybody involved in the transaction. And in my experience, this lady right here can get you closed in about 30 to 45 days.
We can do it in
about,
30 days.
About that. So it's not like you have to, those folks in New York, they have to wait like 3 months to get their houses closed up there. So anyway, that is our take on pre-qualification.
Yep. Don't be afraid of the process. We are here to help guide you through the process. And you can pretty much call me or text me anytime that's convenient for you.
She does answer her phone all the time.
I do answer my phone, and I understand that that's the scenario that happens a lot of times. You're working all week long. It's Friday night. You want to see the house on Saturday? Give me a shout. Don't be afraid.
Yeah. All right, so send us your questions. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks so much.